The next morning she almost texted a lie and stayed in bed. Because running away doesn't fix you, it just changes the scenery you're broken in. But she went to meet him. Of course she went. He would take any hit to keep her safe. She crossed half the world and never left. Grenade Heart. A Saigon Love Story. Episode 2.
I almost didn't go. That's the part one never tell people when I tell this story now at dinner tables and on the podcast, and once memorably to a customs officer who did not ask. Everyone wants the meet cute, the terrible pickup line, the lights going out on cue like the universe had notes. Nobody wants to hear that the next morning I sat on the edge of a hostel bunk in a room full of sleeping Australians and came this close to texting a stranger some polite lie about a stomach bug. Because here's what they don't tell you about traveling alone after your life falls apart. It doesn't fix you. It just changes the scenery you're not fixed in. For months earlier I'd been a person with a plan. A fiancé named Tyler with a good jaw and a golf handicap. A wedding venue with a deposit down. A job writing website copy for a company that sold ergonomic office chairs. And a father. My father, Robert Carter, who taught 8th grade history in Houston for 31 years and kept a laminated map of Southeast Asia thumbtacked over his desk with a red pin in Saigon. Because when he was 19 he'd meant to come here, and then life happened, the way life happens, in the shape of a mortgage and a daughter and a Tuesday night bowling league, and the pin never moved. Then in the space of one bad spring the wedding came off. The chair's company downsized. And my father sat down in his recliner to watch the news and simply did not get up again. I found the map when we cleared the house. I took the red pin out and I put it in my pocket, and I did not tell my mother, who was busy being magnificent and hollow at the same time. And 3 weeks later I did the least Madison Carter thing I had ever done in my life. I bought a one-way ticket to a continent I'd only ever seen thumbtacked to a wall. And I told everyone it was a food writing trip. Because I am carrying my dead father's pin to the city he never reached. Makes people cry at parties. So, that was the girl on the edge of the bunk. 24 years old, 3 weeks into pretending to be a food writer. One bad pickup line away from the first thing in months that had made her feel like a window had opened. I went. Obviously I went. You already know I went. I'd spent the whole day building the case against showing up. He's a stranger. You don't speak the language. This is exactly the kind of impulsive thing that got you a cancelled wedding and a one-way ticket, Madison. You're not a girl in a movie. And I built it well. I'm good at building that case. I'd had a great deal of practice that year. Then 7 o'clock came and I put on the one clean shirt I had left, and I went anyway because the case for staying safe was airtight and boring, and the case for going was only a feeling, and I had spent 4 straight months letting airtight and boring win. And I could see exactly where that had gotten me. Alive and careful and hollow as a drum. So I stood at the mouth of his alley in a city I couldn't read, and I thought, fine. One dinner. What's the worst that happens? Reader, I could not have guessed the worst that happens. The worst that happens is you meet the person and the whole rest of your safe, careful, hollow plan for your life goes out like Bossau cutting the power. All at once, on cue, in the dark. He was waiting at the mouth of an alley in District 4 at 7 in the evening, out of his stage clothes, in a plain black tee and jeans. And without the lights in the hood and the 200 screaming kids, he looked smaller and realer and, I noted with some alarm, quite a lot better. Maddie, he said like he'd practiced it, which I'd learned he had. Fly, I said. He looked absurdly relieved that I'd come. He didn't hide it. That was the thing I kept tripping over with him that first night and for a long time after. He didn't hide anything. Where I came from, everyone was renovated on the outside and condemned on the inside. This boy had his whole heart just sort of out, carried in front of him like a bowl he was afraid of spilling. Okay, he said, and rubbed his hands together and switched into a mode I came to think of as tour guide Fly, which involved his English getting suddenly valiantly better because he'd rehearsed the nouns. Tonight, we eat where I eat. Not tourist. You trust. I don't even know your real name, I said. He grinned. Good. Mystery. Come. The alley was barely wider than my shoulders, and it was, without exaggeration, The greatest single corridor of food I have ever walked through in my life. And I say that now professionally, having walked through a great many. Vin Con Street, he told me, though it wasn't a street so much as a controlled riot of plastic stools and open flame. Snails. He steered me first to snails, to a woman with forearms like a stevedore ladling OC into bowls swimming in lemongrass and chili. And he showed me how to hook the meat out with a little pin, and I got it wrong and it went skittering off the table, and the snail lady laughed so hard she had to sit down. You have to, he mimed it, patient, close. Small. Turn. Like unlock a door. I unlocked the door. The snail came free. Lemongrass and heat and the sea all at once, and I made a sound I was not proud of, and Fly pointed at my face and said, delighted. That is why I love this city. It make you make that noise.
I can't believe how good these snails taste.
I told you this street was amazing.
After the snails came clams, small ones steamed open in a broth of Thai basil and bird's eye chili that Fly warned me about with a seriousness he had applied to nothing else all night, holding up a single finger. One, he said. You eat one first. Then you decide your life. I ate one. My life was decided. I ate 11 more. Then a plate of tiny grilled scallops laid out on their shells with scallion oil and crushed peanuts, and a rice paper round crisped over coals and painted with egg and dried shrimp, and a scribble of chili that he called, with enormous pride, Saigon pizza, and a cup of sugarcane juice pressed through a hand-cranked machine by a man who had, Fly told me, been standing on that exact corner pressing that exact juice since before either of us was born. Everything here is somebody whole life, Fly said, watching me watch the juice man. The snail lady, 40-year only snail. Juice man only juice. Basao, he considered, only being scary, I think. He grinned. In America you change job, change city, change everything, yes? Here you go deep, not wide. One thing. Whole life. Until you are the best in the world at one small thing, and nobody outside 3 streets know your name, and that is... He pressed his hand to his chest, that gesture again, the one I was already learning meant he was about to tell the truth. That is enough. That is a good life. I wrote it down later in the notebook under a smear of chili oil. I have thought about it roughly once a week ever since. We ate our way down the alley and he narrated the whole thing in his box of parts English, reaching for words and missing and reaching again, and somewhere in there I stopped noticing the missing. Grilled scallops with scallion oil and crushed peanuts. Clams with Thai basil. A pancake crepe thing called bonzio that shattered like it was made of gold leaf. He would not let me pay. When I tried, he put both hands over his heart and staggered backward like I'd shot him, and the whole stall found this hilarious, and I understood that I had violated something, and I put my wallet away. You are he searched. My guest. My city. I pay. You teach me word. That is the deal. The trade, I said. The trade. He tested it. Better. Trade. He actually took out his phone and typed it into a note, thumbs careful. I leaned over. The note was long. It was hundreds of lines long. English words, each with a little Vietnamese gloss beside it, dated, some of them starred. You do this every day? He shrugged, suddenly shy, and put the phone away. 3 year. I tell you. I have no person. He said it lightly, but there it was again, that bowl carried out in front, that unhidden thing. I have no person. He didn't mean it the way it landed in my chest. He meant a study partner. I heard it the other way and had to look at the snail lady for a second until my face was mine again. We walked on. A pair of teenagers on a motorbike slowed as they passed, and one of them did a double take and shouted, Fly H. Fly H-oi. And Fly lifted a hand and called something easy back, and they hooped and gunned off into the dark, and I looked at him. They know you. A little. He was shy about it in a completely different way than he was shy about his English, pleased and embarrassed at once. On the internet. Small. Very small. 3 streets, he added, echoing his own joke, but I could see it was starting quietly to go wider than 3 streets, and that he didn't quite know what to do with that. I stepped off the curb to let a cart pass, not really looking, my head still full of him, and a motorbike came around the blind corner faster than it had any right to, close, and before I had finished registering it, Fly's arm was across me, flat against my collarbone, pulling me back onto the curb without any drama at all, without even breaking his sentence, the way you catch a glass before it knows it's falling. The bike blew through the space where I had just been standing. "Careful," he said mildly, letting go, already pointing at the next stall. "Saigon traffic don't love you back." It was nothing. It was a completely ordinary thing that happens 100 times a night in that city, to everyone. I did not think about it again for a long time. I think about it constantly now, that on the very first night, without a thought, without so much as a pause in his sentence, his instinct when a light came out of the dark toward me was to put his own arm between it and me. I just didn't know yet how far that instinct ran in him. How far he would one day let it carry him. Around midnight we ended up on the curb outside a banh mi cart, waiting for the woman to grill the pork, and the alley had gone quiet around us in the way even the loudest places eventually do, and Fly asked me, carefully like he'd been saving it, "Why you come?" "Real reason." "Not?" He waved a hand at my little canvas bag, at the notebook he'd seen me writing in. Not the food writer answer. The real one. And maybe it was the hour, or the snails, or the fact that he'd handed me every true thing about himself all night without my asking, so it felt only fair. But I told him. Not all of it, but the pin. My father, the map, the thumbtack that never moved, the recliner. The city he meant to reach and didn't. Fly was quiet for a long moment. For a boy who filled silences for a living, he had a real gift for leaving one alone when it mattered. "So," he said finally, "you come for him?" "I guess. Yeah. No." He shook his head and reached. Not for my hand, he wasn't reaching for my hand, he tapped once, lightly, on the cover of my notebook where it stuck out of the bag. "You carry him. Is different. Come is one time. Carry is," he mimed a weight, both arms, "every day. Every step. That is very heavy, Maddie. And you do it half the world alone."
I did not cry outside the banh mi cart in District 4. I want that on the record. But it was close, and he saw that it was close, and he did the kindest thing anyone had done for me in 4 months of people being kind at me. He pretended he hadn't seen. He stood up and clapped his hands and announced to the empty alley that the pork was ready and that I was about to eat the single greatest sandwich of my American life. And if I made the snail noise again, he would put it in a song. I made the snail noise again. He put it in a song. But that came later. The rain that had been threatening all night finally made up its mind halfway across the district. Fat warm drops at first and then all of it at once, the way it comes there. And neither of us had an umbrella and neither of us ran. That surprised me about myself. I am a person who runs from rain, from discomfort, from most things. But he only tipped his face up to it and kept walking at the same easy pace, soaked in 4 seconds, grinning. And it seemed suddenly ridiculous to armor myself against warm water at 2 in the morning beside a boy who hid nothing, so I tipped my face up too. We walked the last stretch drenched and unhurried, and he named things as we passed them. "That's the good foe, that's the temple, take off your..." He mimed a hat I wasn't wearing, and only much later did I understand he was doing the exact thing his father had once done for him on the tank of a motorbike, naming his small world into me one wet corner at a time. As though a girl who knew every corner of his place could never afterward be truly lost in it. He walked me back toward the bridge at 2 in the morning, both of us full and quiet, the first real rain of the season just starting to freckle the pavement. And at the corner where I'd have to turn for my hostel, he stopped and did the careful English thing, the reaching thing. "Maddie, thank you for the trade. For teach me word. You barely let me teach you anything. You already knew trade." "I know trade," he admitted. "I want more lesson anyway." And then, before I could decide what my face was doing about that, "Tomorrow? I show you where I am from. My real. Not the food. The me. Half the world away, alone, 3 weeks into pretending, carrying my father like a stone. I stood on a corner in the warm first rain and heard myself say yes to a boy I couldn't fully understand in a city my dad never reached, and for the first time since the recliner I felt the weight shift. Not gone. Just shared for a second. held by two arms instead of one. "Yeah, fly," I said. "Show me the U." I turned for the hostel. 3 steps for. Then behind me, quiet like a note he didn't mean me to hear. "Her name is Maddie," he said to no one, to the rain, to the empty street, practicing. "Maddie. From Houston. She make the snail noise." I didn't turn around. I smiled the whole way home. I did not sleep. I lay on my mat under the window with the fan pushing the hot air around like a spoon in soup, and I wrote. Not a song. I couldn't find the song yet, though I could feel it the way you feel a storm 2 provinces away. I wrote English. Sentences I might need. "This is my home. This is my mother. Please excuse the small." I crossed out the small. I wrote please excuse, we do not have much. I crossed that out too because it was begging and my mother did not raise a beggar. In the end I wrote nothing that helped and everything that mattered, and by the time the sky went gray I had decided the only plan was to have no plan. Show her the truth. Let the truth do what it wanted. That was easy to decide at dawn. It was much harder at 6 in the evening, standing at the mouth of my own alley, watching an American girl take her shoes off out of instinct at my door because she'd read somewhere that you should, and getting it exactly, perfectly right and looking up at me for approval like a student. And I felt something crack open in my chest that I did not have a Vietnamese word for either, let alone an English one. "This is good," she whispered. "Shoes. Shoes is good," I said. "Shoes is very good. My alley is not wide enough for 2 people to pass without turning sideways. The families who live along it had their doors open the way we all do when the day cools, and I watched Maddie try not to look and fail because how do you not look? The woman across from us washing rice in a red basin, old Mr. Bay fixing a bicycle chain that has been broken since I was a child. The smell of somebody's dinner and somebody's incense in the drains and the frangipani all fighting for the same square meter of air. This is the part the tourists never see, and I brought her here on purpose and my hands were sweating. "Fly," she said quietly. "This is beautiful. This is poor," I said because I wanted to say it before she could think it. She stopped walking. In the narrow alley that meant she was very close. "I didn't say poor," she said. "I said beautiful. Those aren't the same word. Don't put your word in my mouth." Nobody had ever said anything like that to me. I didn't have an answer, so I kept walking and my ears were hot the whole way. We went deeper. The alley did what alleys do to a stranger. It opened one eye. Mr. Bay looked up from his eternal bicycle chain and said something to me I was glad Maddie couldn't parse. A filthy, delighted approval, and I said something back that made him cackle. The woman washing rice in the red basin didn't look up at all, which from her was the highest courtesy. She only shifted her basin 2 inches so Maddie's shadow wouldn't fall across the water. An old superstition, and Maddie noticed and stepped around it, and the woman's mouth did something that was almost a smile. A cluster of small kids materialized from nowhere the way they do and walked backward in front of us the whole way, staring at Maddie with frank scientific interest, until one worked up the courage to shout the only English he owned, "Hello. Bye-bye." All 3 at once, triumphant, and fled.
This is beautiful.
And that's where we leave them for now. Next time, he shows her where he's really from and hears 4 words back. But if you can't wait for the next episode, you don't have to. The whole love story is already waiting for you. The complete novel, Grenade Heart, a Saigon love story, is available now on Amazon. Just search Grenade Heart, or tap the link in the description and read it all the way to the end. Subscribe so the next chapter finds you. I'll see you there.